بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. I greet our listening audience with the greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak. Okay, today, we're looking at chapter 24, verse 32. 24:32. So we're going to go right to it. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. With Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. We should say that before reading the Qur'an, but even before that, we should say to ourselves, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge from the rejected Satan. We should say that first, and we should say that to ourselves. We don't want to give Satan so much publicity. Some of us, we give him so much publicity every time you go to the Jummah, they're talking about Satan. Give him too much. Don't put him in the public too much. And don't put him behind you because you don't want to be leading Satan. Then we say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And there are pauses between, there's a pause. Because the Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is not a part of the verse, so don't read it in with the verse. Only in Al-Fatiha. In Al-Fatiha, Bismillah is part of the surah, Al-Fatiha. So you don't have to pause there. But the others, it's not part of the surah, Bismillah. So there's a pause. Now we begin to read where, now this writing, I want to show you the Arabic, for the Arabic students again. This writing, this where, there's no space, so it looks like it's part of the word. So when you first learn to read, you have to determine if this where is actually a word, a particle, which will institute a word, or if it's part of the word. And here it's and. It's a conjunction. It's and. It's introducing a thought here. Ankihu is to marry. Many of you may know the word nikah. Nikahun. Nikahun. Nikah. We say nikah or nikahun. This high sounds on the end. Nikah. This is marriage. So this is the command. This is a command. Allah is commanding that marry al-ayama, the single. Marry the single. The singles. It's in the plural. Those that are single. Minkum, amongst you. Where? As-salihina. As-salihina is a very rich Arabic word. As-salihina, we could translate as righteous. We could say righteous. But the salihina are those who have reconciled their faith. And there are two ways I can bring, two examples right away that we could use, I can give you to show that an example of reconciling your faith. And one is through sadaqah. Sadaqah. We know the word sadaqah and the word truth comes from sadaqah, and we have had the word confirmation that comes from the same root in terms of sadaqah. Sadaqah. So sadaqah, zakat. Zakat, sadaqah is giving. It's when you give, and zakat is when you give. But zakat, when you're giving, we say charity, but it's not charity. In the sense of charity, zakat is a tax. It's more like tax. You're taxed, like you pay tax in America. Everyone has to pay taxes. So zakat is like a tax. That's where they get it from. They get it from Islam. A lot of the laws and things that we do in the American life have much of it has been borrowed from the Qur'an and the life of the Prophet. The Americans, the governors of this country appreciate Prophet Muhammad so much in terms of law that they have a replica of him in the building where we have the justice, the judges, the building there at Capitol Hill. They have to show the respect they have for him and his contribution that he has made to law in terms of humanity, Muhammad the Prophet. So don't be so quick to run up in there talking about Sharia. Because they have studied, and they continue to study the Qur'an and the life of Muhammad the Prophet, if they intend to improve upon the law. So zakat. Zakat is a tax. It's like a tax. Sadaqah is what we would call a contribution. It's a charity, but we have like contribution. Many of the people who earn a lot of money, they have to pay tax and they have to make contributions. And they have to show where they have to make contributions. So in Islam, your contributions is an affirmation of you reconciling your faith, or it's proof. It's proof that you are what you say you are in terms of you're Muslim. And you have this faith, so giving sadaqah is a way to confirm that faith. That's one way. The other way to confirm your faith is in your work. The work that you do. And the way we can even say behave in your work is a way of confirming your faith. So if you work and you're working around other people, they should see in your work a confirmation of you saying you're a Muslim, that you submit to Allah and His message. They should see that. I have a volunteer job at the golf course. I'm gonna relax today. The subject here, I could relax and be myself, but it's hard for me to do because I won't get the feedback from it. But I have a volunteer job, so something I did and had to be reprimanded. So they come out, hey Salim, look, you're doing this, you can't be doing this while you're working, you know. And another one comes, we could call him supervisor. The one who's running the place, you can't be doing this. The other one calls me, hey Salim, so-and-so said he had to let you know you can't be doing this. And right away I'm obedient. I don't give any reasons. I don't say anything. Yes, sir. It won't happen again. That will not happen again. Well, you don't have to go. Then I'm just saying, no, it won't happen again. It just won't happen again. You're right. You're right. It won't happen again. Now he says, you're quite obedient. I'm saying, yes, I have to be obedient. I have to be obedient to the rules and regulations here. And you have a right to notify me, to tell me I can't do that. So I have to be obedient. I have to be obedient. I can't be disobedient. That's confirming my faith. I give him no excuse. I don't say so-and-so did it. I don't say, hey, I was hiding. Hey, no one saw it. The customer didn't see me. I didn't say any of that. Well, when you do that, I say, no. I can't do that anymore. Because I can't have you coming back to me again, saying the same thing again. Now, you might come to me and say something else, but you won't say that again to me. Because I have to be obedient. And my obedience is not obedience to the golf course. My obedience is an obedience to Allah. Because my obedience is a confirmation of my faith, not a confirmation of the golf course. It's a confirmation of my faith. That's Salihin. This is Salihin. So you can give a contribution, or you can show in your works that your personality, your behavior, your work itself is a confirmation of your faith. This is Salihina. So now look how this word now, I'm giving you this word here, Salihina, but look how it's used. Min ibadikum, of your servants. The Salihin of your servants. Where male servants. Where imaikum, and your female servants. Those who are your servants, slaves. We can say slaves because there's a time in the history of mankind that we had slaves. And some people have slaves now. I can't get into a long discussion of slaves. It has to be a presentation to talk about slavery. Slavery in the context of the American, what happened in American history with slavery, and what has occurred in the world as slavery. But Islam addresses slavery, but the way the Qur'an addresses slavery is a decent way in having slaves and eradicating slavery without there being scars left on the slave. Today we have too many scars, too many psychological scars that we're still dealing with, that's still present with the African American due to one being slaves and the other is the method used to bring about the freedom. We're still dealing with it right now. And we're still dealing with the scars of human inferiority because of the condition of slavery. Still dealing with the scars. So Islam, if we study Islam, and this country, they studied Islam, they studied Muhammad the Prophet, they studied it, and they didn't use the method. So it's not about Sharia, it's that we have to go and show them you didn't use the correct method. Now we have to correct that we're still dealing with on both sides. So if you find a badikum, your servant, your employees, you can say your employees or your servants, salihin. They are confirming their work. Their work as a slave is a confirmation to their faith. Then marry them. In yakunu fuqara'a, and if you are, or if they are, not you, if they are fuqara, poor, you should still marry them. These words here in this verse, when we read the Qur'an, you can't read a piece of it. You have to read the Qur'an in a comprehensive way. That all of these words are connecting and they all go together with the whole conceptual idea that we're speaking of here. You can't take a piece of it, just say, marry the single, and then stop, and that's it. No. Those that are single and those who can show in their work and their behavior that their behavior is a confirmation to their faith, even if they are poor. Because yughnihum Allahu. Allah will enrich them. Allah will provide for them. Yughnihum Allahu. Yes, Allah will, because it's in the nature, it's in the original creation of Allah, that if you are even a slave, and you're poor as a slave, yes, you're poor as a slave, even if you were to marry under those conditions of being poor, to the extent of being as poor as a slave, but you have in your constitution, of your personal constitution, the behavior of being a Salihin, and you marry, Allah will provide for you. You won't even have to worry about it. Allah will provide. But if you are some playboy type, and you coming with street gang, and you trying to marry the single, and you got this attitude, your constitution is nothing but street gang, and you think you're running game on somebody, no, Allah will not provide for you. You can't even get a volunteer job where you don't even get paid. Because your attitude may become, y'all don't even pay me. You can't reprimand me because I could tell you, y'all don't even pay me. I ain't got to take this. I volunteer. I don't volunteer. I get to play free golf. The same thing. Better tell me I can go somewhere else and work. I have to take this. No. Then I'm not reconciling my faith. It's not part of my constitution. But you take a person who's obedient like that, who's obedient, a bad, that's an obedient, that reconciles their faith as a Muslim. Yes. So, but if you're looking for Allah to provide for you, something going to drop out the sky in your pocket, you reading the verse wrong. And some people read the verse wrong. Oh, brother, go ahead and get married. Allah gonna take care of you. No, that don't sound right. And we'll see it in the discussion. No, it's not like that. That's like telling someone, hey, you don't have nothing to worry about. You get a job anywhere. If someone hires you, they won't let you go. They'll let everybody else go before they let you go. So forth and so on. Min fadlihi, from his grace. From his grace. Fadlun. Fadlun, these are very rich words. We don't have English equivalent for these words. But for the word Salihin. Salihin, it takes a few words for Salihin, because you have a few elements that's in the word Salihin. And Fadlun is a very rich word. If you look it up in the dictionary, you're going to get a long list of words, because we don't have a good, solid word for Fadlun. Fadlun. And it's used in many ways. Fadlun. But this Fadlun it's like, it's used in, we use this word in a language. Someone comes and you would say to them, you open your door to them, you would say, Tafaddal. Tafaddal means do as you please. Come in, take your shoes off, do as you please, whatever the circumstance calls for. The way it's open for you. You know, so this is from Fadlihi, from Allah's grace that He has given to His creation. But you know, Allah doesn't deal in terms of yughnihim. Allah doesn't give the animals everything. We can look at the animal life. We can look at the insect life. The life of the bee. The bee has to work. But Allah gives the bee or the bird or the ant everything that it needs. Everything that it needs, go ahead. And if anything get in your way, sting it. That human being get in your way, sting it. Y'all attack it. Hit him on the neck. You hit him on the neck. He'll leave you alone. Get him on the neck. So you give him everything he needs to be equipped to survive, to do what he needs to do when the bee gets married. And Allah is saying here, for the human being, you you're faithful, you confirm in your faith as a Muslim, don't you worry. Go ahead and get married. Don't worry about poverty. You all will make it together. You will make it together. Wallahu wasi'un alim. And Allah is expansive, and He's knowing, meaning in terms of wealth. Allah keeps a roll on it. If I can put it in the term, I can't imagine a lot of young people listening to me, but that's how we talk. We used to talk. So Allah has a spread. Why see on a spread, like a ponderosa. But this whole universe is His spread. And He knows everything. Like you would say to your daughter or son, yes, I know. Dad knows. Yes, I know. But go ahead. You be all right. This is in this verse. This verse here. We're going to talk about this verse. Sometimes I can just sit and reflect on the verse and talk about the verse for the next hour. This is what comes out of the verse. But I have something prepared to talk about in terms of marriage and the singles being married. So in this tafsir here, وَأَنْتُهُ الْأَيَامَ مِنْكُمْ, and marry the singles of you, and it's jam'u ayyim, meaning it's the plural of ayyim. So ayyama is plural. It's plural. It's talking about the male single, the female single, and it's in the plural of the community, giving us the idea now of the community, having a community where the single people in the community are to be married. It's a command. وَهِيَ, and it is man laysa laha zawju bukran kanat aw tayyiban, meaning that, and they are those women who does not have a mate, a husband, whether young or old. Young or old, they should be married. وَمَنْ لَيْسَ لَهُ, and those who there's not for him zawj, a mate. So it's addressing the male and the female are to marry. وَهَذَا فِي الْأَحْرَارِ وَالْحَرَائِرِ, and this is the free person, the free male and the free female. Now this, he's given this in his tafsir, even though in the verse it's saying even the slaves. The slaves, they should be married. And the families of the slaves should be kept together. This, the Qur'an is dealing with slavery. That those who are single, and they show you that they have confirmed their faith, then you should marry them. And keep the families together. That's something the United States didn't do. The United States didn't allow the slaves to be married and kept the families together. That we're still dealing with as African Americans. That's a scar, a deep scar that has influenced the psychology of the African American. So he's saying here the free male and the female, and perhaps he's including the free as well as the slave. Perhaps he's including that. وَصَالِحِينَ أَيْ مُؤْمِنِينَ. So mu'minina, he's saying, believers, he's saying, is defining as salihin. However, I've gone a little further to say the believer, but Salihin is the one who's confirming his faith, confirming his belief. Al-Mu'minina. So he just says Al-Mu'minina. Min ibadikum wa imaikum. Ibadun min jumu'ul abd. He's just saying that ibad is from the plural of abd. It is the plural of abd, ibad. So, still speaking of the slaves. وَإِنْ يَكُونُوا أَيْ أَحْرَارِ, the male, even though the free male, Fukara is poor. They're talking about the man now. The man, if the man is poor, because here he's switching in the sense to talk about the man, even though in the Quranic verse it's talking about the man and the woman. But he's saying the man because perhaps it's saying in yakunu, even if they. But they, masculine plural, when you're using a masculine plural, it's talking the male and the female. And Allah has been specific in the verse to mention the male and the female. So it's not just the male. It's the male and the female. So we have to go back, and let's go back and read the Qur'an again. Because certain things have been put into the social life of the Muslim that we read certain things and we assume certain things because of what comes to us from Muslims in terms of the social life that they have established in another country somewhere. And we try to take it, and it's still based upon Qur'an, it's still based upon the life of the Prophet, but it's applied to the social life of that people. And then when you come to America, a place where you have a plurality of various people, then we pick up from people from different countries thinking that this is the Islam. And thinking that they're coming strictly from the Qur'an, when we need to go back and read the Qur'an again for ourselves and look at our own circumstance. Especially those of us who have come to this religion just in recent years. In the past 30 years, we have to begin reading the Qur'an for ourselves. Many of us are just learning to read the Qur'an for ourselves. We have to start reading it for ourselves and look at our own circumstance and then apply the Qur'an to our circumstance, not to the circumstance of someone else in a different time, in a different place. And not just pick up books and just read them like I'm reading a tafsir. I'm not reading a tafsir that this tafsir is the law, and I have to abide by it because the Jalalain, the two Jalals, have said it. No, I still have to keep my mind open to look at my own circumstance based upon what the Qur'an is saying. But to do that, I have to know what the Qur'an is saying. So what we're doing is we're learning to read Arabic, to define Arabic, then we go back and we can read it ourselves because we'll know what the Qur'an is saying. Not that we're following someone that has written a book. The only authentic, you hear Muslims talk about authentic, the only book, the writing that you cannot disagree with is the Qur'an. So it's an imperative that we learn to read the Qur'an for ourselves. So yakunu is still addressing the male and the female, though in the social life. In the social life, we want the male to be the one who's more responsible than the female. For having family life, the male is to be more responsible. To have community life, the males, some of them that Allah had blessed or given more than others, they have to be more responsible for community life. We can go into any established community, and you will find that there's a small group perhaps, of males. And in modern times, males and females, that contribute to the establishment of that town, the industry of that town. It could just be a few men that have a business that can hire the people of that town, and the people move around there to work that business, to have family life in that town, but it's dependent upon the family or the association of just a few people. The other people are employed by those few people. So this is the idea. That's why he's saying the free male. If the free male is poor, then Allah will enrich him, be tazawwuj, in the marriage. And yes, that's true also based upon the context of the verse that's given. Min fadlihi wallahu wasi'un li khalqihi, meaning his creation. He's defining fadlihi now as his creation, from his creation. The goods and services from his creation, Allah will give to him. Alimun is that Allah knows about them. He knows of them. He understands. He knows. Yes. But it's in the nature. What we're speaking of, the nature of this verse, we have to see the whole verse, not part of the verse. Okay? I just wanted to explain that. I know you understand. So I didn't write the reflection because I want to just explain it. So we're talking about the injunction of marriage. We're going to talk about being single, whether you're widow, widower, divorced, etc. A note on polygamy. Just a note on polygamy. Polygamy can take a whole presentation about polygamy. So it's just a note on polygamy. And marriage brings provision, brings about provisions. Preserve and protect family ideas, family value and work ethic. Promiscuousness erodes societies. The dowry motivates economic growth. And a note on inheritance. So each one of these areas, I can only make a note about them because each one of these can become a presentation within itself. Maybe if the Mali students don't step up next year, we can just spend a whole month dealing with family life, marriage, and family life itself. It's a big topic that we need to go back and look at the Qur'an and look at our circumstance and address this issue. Because many of us are trying to address this issue within the erosion of marriage and community life, and they can't read the Qur'an well. This is the problem that we're having. So we need to go back. Maybe the Mali students will be prepared to contribute to this presentation. This year, I'm making presentations just myself. Next year, there'll be Mali students included. It has to become a group of us that will be included in making presentations during the month of Ramadan. A good time to do it. So these verses are very precise and accurate to the idea or recommendation of marriage. It also contains in it the logic and motivation for marriage, just in this one verse. Especially, as we have said, for the man in that marriage life. But we may have to take a look at the circumstances, not just the man only. So we can say the man and the woman. In our circumstance today, We have to say the man and the woman in the marriage life, the family life, that will motivate you towards obtaining material good or success. Now, Muhammad Asad, he's a commentator of the Qur'an. He's written a translation and commentary of Qur'an, Muhammad Asad. He says, as most classical commentators point out, this is not an injunction, but a recommendation. So the term ankihu, he's saying the command is, this is what he's saying, it's a recommendation to the community as a whole. He goes on to indicate that the Arabic word used for single in this verse signifies a person of either sex, male or female, who has no spouse, irrespective of whether he or she has never been married or is divorced or widowed, meaning any single person of marriage age. That's what Muhammad Asad is saying. Some will translate the word for single, the word ayamah for single, meaning widow, widower, or even divorced, indicating someone that was previously married. So this word ayamah, there are two ideas of what's being addressed here. Because in some other religions and traditions of people and ways of people, a man or woman that was previously married was no longer attractive or permitted to marry again. And some people think that they shouldn't marry again. Let's say if they've been married before, and now they have divorced or widowed or what have you, they don't want to marry again. This is a practice that many of the virtuous men and women may have in our society. The virtuous men and women may have in our society that they will not remarry after becoming a widow or widower. They don't, some think they're not supposed to marry again, and some think that they just don't want to marry again. Thus, they may hold the view that they are to be loyal to their first husband or wife, that they would marry again. There are many different circumstances that we can't look at every circumstance, so we have to look at it in general. So we may have this in general. And some people have divorced, and because of the experience of the divorce, the male experience, or even the female experience in the marriage, they won't marry again for various reasons. Like I said, it's something that we have to talk about. There will be a presentation just on divorce, just on widows and widowers. These are all can be extended conversations that's part of the circumstance of people living single in the community. Also, we may note that using the word single does not abrogate the verses on polygamy that many would read this verse thinking this is the abrogation of the verse on polygamy. But polygamy, where the man can have more than one wife, is acceptable in the religion al-Islam, with strict conditions and stipulations applying. Now, I know there may be Christians listening, so in the religion of Christianity in America, we don't have polygamy. But we know amongst I think it's the Mormon group, they practice polygamy. But not all of the religious groups in America have this in their religion. But in Islam, though it's in Islam, there are conditions, strict conditions. We need to go back and read the verses again on polygamy and see that there are strict conditions. If you read the whole verse, if you just see 2, 3, and 4, and that's it, and bring your street life into the religion, then we have a problem. We have a big problem. But if you can read the whole verse and comprehend the whole verse, then perhaps polygamy could be a decent thing in the community life. But most of us, in our discussion on polygamy, is only reading a few words in the verse. And it's a problem. We live in a monogamous society. Those are the circumstances and the conditions of the society that we live in. Therefore, it has formed our thinking. And we live in a society that has government assistance programs and corporate enhancement. In the American society, we have this. The government offers such programs as government housing and food assistance, and corporate enhancements such as pensions, savings programs, insurances, etc. So these type of programs will allow a man or woman to remain unmarried, especially after being married or after becoming a widow or widower. The American society in general has in it the assistance programs, the assistance social programs that will allow people to live a single life and not be married. That men do not need women to depend upon for marriage life and family life, and vice versa. And even some of them are trying to find ways. They have come to me to find ways. Men have come to me for me to look in the Qur'an and find ways for them not to pay child support. And I have to tell them, I'm not going to look because I doubt if it's there. But in terms of justice, that you're not wrong with child support, then I can look and find verse 40, that you're not done wrong. But if you got your girlfriend over here and she's taking your money, and your ex-wife and your family, they're taking your money, because that is your family, and they're taking your money, and you feel you're being done wrong. So you want me to show you how you don't have to take care of your family. And I can't do that. We have all of these health prevention programs that goes on. We need some marriage prevention programs, divorce prevention programs that we need to begin to put into our teachings on how to prevent. Once you're married, you need some preventive programs of getting divorced, getting these divorces and living a single life. Because living a single life is a problem for the whole society. Living in poverty conditions is not an excuse for not marrying. If you are Salihin, the institution of marriage will bring about the provisions of material goods, as we have stated. If we were to establish family life we would get great benefits in every direction. It will encourage us to want community life. Having a desire to have strong families will encourage us to establish strong communities. We want to live with others that have similar family plans and the same outlook on life that we have. This is how you build a community. Just to gather some bricks and build houses and buildings and go and move and live in them, that's not community life. A community life is where you have a group of people that have similar ideas. The first is that they want to preserve their family life. Preserve and protect their family life, along with the properties that we invest in for our families. We want to protect that. We don't want to have drugs and liquor sold in our communities. We don't want to have marijuana houses in our communities. We don't want to have bars in our community. We don't want to have the gambling in our communities. This has proven to erode the family and social life. Drugs have had such a devastating effect on the African American community life. Many of the cities, the big cities, though we live in these cities, but we don't have strong common ideas. We're too diverse in our life. That's why gentrification can easily take place, because the people who are living in these communities, they know they're not living as a strong community group of people. They are just occupying the home. But in some communities where the people have common ideas and they have moved there to preserve and protect their families, it's a little more difficult to move them. You just can't, they're not going to move. You can't move them. We don't want promiscuous sexual life in our community. This has also proven to have become a social ill and a detriment to strong family and community life. In fact, we don't even want it to come through the TV without our permission. Let me just make a point with the TV. Now, I don't know how many of us listening have ever met or have had a relationship, a personal relationship, a community relationship, a family relationship with Bill Cosby or not. I haven't. But I grew up listening to Bill Cosby's albums. He was a comedian. He made the albums. A lot of the comedians at that time could not get on TV. They didn't have TV shows. So you had comedians: Bill Cosby, Flip Wilson, Red Fox, Miles Mabley. Y'all know the names. Now some of them, like Red Fox, only my older brother and his friends, we could sneak over to their house and go in the basement and listen to Red Fox. You couldn't play Red Fox in the open, and the parents might hear it. So the parents got to be gone, and only the older brothers had these albums. We didn't have them. So we could sneak into, my friends could sneak into his older brother's stash and get Red Fox out, and we can listen and laugh and whatever to the Red Fox albums. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But Bill Cosby Bill Cosby, we could sit on the front porch. And my friend's mother would be sitting right in the window listening to the album with us of Bill Cosby. That was Bill Cosby, but not Red Fox, not even Miles Mabley, because of what was in it. Okay, the vulgarity and all that was in it. They didn't want us listening to that. But Bill Cosby was okay. So we could sit, listen to Bill Cosby and laugh at the jokes and things. Okay, when it comes to TV now, though Red Fox had to be clean, Bill Cosby has always been clean on TV. So we haven't had the experience through the TV screen now of Bill Cosby when he had his hand in his shows, promoting his own, producing his own shows. They were not despicable. The Bill Cosby shows, the Cosby Kids, Bill Cosby, the shows that he was doing. So he didn't have that influence on us. But someone goes to look into his personal life and make it public to us. And we have the audacity to not like or talk about Bill Cosby in his personal life. But he never influenced us. He never influenced us to do drugs. He never influenced us to give women drugs and have some sexual relationship with them through drugs. His TV shows never showed that. Never had that influence from Bill Cosby. Okay? But however, you have people on TV that's influencing our family life with drugs, with promiscuous sexual activities and all that coming right through the TV and influencing our families, and we don't protest. But we're going to protest the life of Bill Cosby, not knowing anything about his personal life. But we join the protest. We join the condemnation of Bill Cosby. But we won't join the condemnation of Terrence Howard, of the other woman, Terrence Howard, and y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know the TV show with all the decadence in it. Empire. We can't wait to watch Empire. We can't wait to watch Scandal. But we don't take the African Americans in those shows, and we don't protest and boycott them, and they bring it right through the TV screen that our family can easily push a button and they can influence the children without our consent. And we go on and on with movies and TV shows, but we don't raise one voice of protest. That all of a sudden they present us with Bill Cosby, and now they're presenting the other actors. All of these actors, they're in Hollywood. Hollywood is the citadel, the mecca for indecency, promiscuity, immorality. It's the mecca of immorality because it comes from Hollywood through the TV screen or through the big screen, all of this immoral activity that's influencing us, and we have the audacity to take one of their personal lives and look into it. That's hypocrisy on our part, on the Salihin, that we don't condemn them. The desire for strong family life will cause us to become more politically aware. You see, when you want to have a family life, then you want to have a community life, that's going to force us to become more politically aware. We will not be satisfied with just anyone becoming the police captain, which is the problem right now. The police captain is a problem for many of us. So we want to get married and move and live in a community where we can choose our own police captain. In fact, if we can form our own Muslim community, I have to talk like a progressive chief now, then we can have a Muslim community designed that we don't need a police because we have a way of scrutinizing everyone that's going to live in our community. You know, we can have that in America. You have to fill out this form. If you're going to live in this subdivision, then you have to fill this form out. And we have a right to interview you, to have you live amongst us in our community. We can choose our own congressman or congresswoman, our own mayor, our own school superintendent, our own principal, etc. And we have done this, but we have fallen. Immorality is still eroding our life, our community, our city life. We will want to raise our voice in community concerns, which means we have to become more politically alert. This is what will happen to a person that just want to be married and have a decent family and live in a decent neighborhood with decent people who have the same outlook of family life that they have. Imam W.D. Muhammad, the prayers and the mercy of his Lord be upon him. If we have, he had said, if we have the family concern at heart, we're going to be a factor for insisting upon good life and excellent performance everywhere that touches upon our family. Let me continue to quote. We're not going to be non-productive materially and financially. If we really have that family concern at heart, we are going to be a people with a work ethic who appreciate work and value work. Family value is a value that every other value can be set upon. Concern for family will hold it up. Now let me go back and say something he's saying here. When we have the family concern at heart. You know, the heart is the place that people speak from when they want to say, I love you. The heart. I'm in love with you. Speaking from the heart. That's puppy love. We call it puppy love. I see someone coming out the store. I look at them. Oh, I fell in love. Love at first sight. Puppy love. What's in your heart? What is in your heart that you have such concern for, that is so precious to you, that you will not share with anyone? It's in your heart. What is in your heart that's so precious to you that you would leave your wife before you leave part with what's in your heart? What's in your heart that's so precious to you that you would part with your husband before you part with that which is in your heart? What are you carrying in your heart that is so protective for the man that he will grow hair on his chest? That if anybody came near his chest where his heart is lodged, that the hair would sense it before he can touch his chest, and the alarm system comes on because somebody's trying to get to your heart, and they're trying to get to that precious thing that you hold in your heart. So it's symbolized by having hair on your chest. That's why the hair is on your chest. Not because you want to be an animal. Not because you want to act like an animal. No, it's an alarm system. Because that somebody, that girl is trying to get to your heart. and you want to protect your heart. What's in your heart? Ask yourself, what's in my heart that I'm trying to protect? And the only person that I'm going to share this with that's in my heart is a person that I can trust. That I can trust her, that she would share with the family and it won't even get outside the family. That I have to preserve myself and my family with it. That's what that's all about in the heart. We talk about that Hollywood heart. That Hollywood has sold us on. No. And the same for the female. What's in your heart that is so precious to you that you would only share it with your husband? Nobody else. People felt that way about Muhammad the Prophet. Praise and peace be upon him. There's something that he had to be holding in his heart that was so dear to him that he didn't share with us, the companions. We were with him every day. I was at his house. He married my daughter. But there had to be something that was in his heart that he was holding so dear to him that he didn't even share with us. But he shared it with Aisha. Aisha knows. So let's go and ask Aisha about him. And maybe she can tell us something about him that he hasn't shared with anybody else. Nobody knows about something about him except for Aisha. Let's go and find out what it is. So they go to Aisha. And they say, tell us. And she said to them, have you not read the Qur'an? That's what he was holding in his heart, so precious. And that's what he protected. So precious, he protected the Qur'an in his heart. It was revealed on his heart. And gradually, as he becomes conscious of what's in his heart, gradually, over 23 years, it comes up into the conscious intellect. And he was able to share it. But yet, he protected it. That's what she's telling them. Have you not read the Qur'an? If you've read the Qur'an, you would know what was in his heart, that he was protecting. You would know what all that hell in his chest was about. You all couldn't get to him in his heart that would cause him to give the Qur'an differently than the way he received it. Whether you was a family member or not, he gave the message as Allah revealed it to him. He was the trustworthy one. You know, you have to be very trustful to receive revelation. You can't even prove that God exists because God is invisible. So you can't really prove that God exists when you get in revelation. You can't prove that Allah. You can't even prove you're a messenger of Allah. Because when they asked him, he said, all I have is the Qur'an. Prove you're a messenger of Allah. I can't prove it. All I have is the Qur'an. And I'm sharing that with you. What else is there for me to prove? You want to see me do some magical tricks? Yes. I hope you understand. So ask yourself, what do you hold so dear in your heart? If you are saying the Qur'an, that I hold this Qur'an so dear in my heart that I won't deviate from it, then you should be looking for a woman that you can share that Qur'an with, that from your heart, that she would appreciate and she would hold it dear. That she just won't share with anybody. And make sure that nobody gets to your heart. And that can influence and affect your heart. That even you will begin to deviate or cause corruption of the Qur'an as you hold it in your heart. If that's what's in your heart. Just don't say it because that's a thing to say. It has to be something that you have to be holding something that's dear to you. Yes. You understand? Because I'm imagining I'm having an older group, my audience. I'm taking a little time today because it's Saturday. Now, a lot of you experience. You're Mali students. I want to show you something. When you write, and I say, okay, write your reflection and write your commentary, but when you send it to me, no one else can see it. Only the people in the class can see it. You see each other's writing because it helps you. But no one outside of Mali can get to the writing. Because here, your writing, it may not come from your heart, but let's say it comes from your gut. So you have a gut. You have a gut and you have a heart. So these are your gut feelings. You're not putting your heart on paper because, see, when I step on your gut feelings, it's hard for some of you all to take. You can't take it. Because, hey, you went inside. You went inside yourself and you wrote. When you're writing, you're going inside and bringing something from inside of you. And when somebody step on that, when I critique it, some of you can't take it, and some of you left the class because you can't take it. Because, hey, I'm coming from my inside out, and I'm going to put it on paper, and then Imam Salim is going to step on it, going to give me his opinion. I can't take it. Now just think. Just think if you took something from your heart that's precious. That's precious from your heart. Oh no, we not put that on paper, brother. You ain't get that. I give you something from my gut, but you ain't get nothing from my heart and step on it. Oh, no. Ain't nobody get that but my wife or my husband. You know, and even she better be careful. Because if she step on it, she might be out the door. Well, if he step on it, he might be out the door. You see what I'm saying? Yes. Now, because this is a serious topic we're talking about. So now let's go back and read the words of the Imam again. If we have that family concern at heart. Okay, let's go on. And I know we've heard this from our mothers. You're a movement. You don't do what everybody else do. In this house, you're a movement in this house. I know you've heard it. You're a Johnson. You're not anybody. You're a Johnson. Those are words we have to share with our families now. No. I don't care what they do. You're a movement. You don't do that. I'm not saying you're a Muslim. Movement, by the name movement, not believer, the name movement. But believer helps it. It strengthens it. But no, you're a Johnson. You don't do that. We're talking about family values. You don't do that. I don't care who's doing it. You don't do it. If our cornerstone of society is going to be the family, if that's going to be our cornerstone, the family. If it's going to be something else, then we're talking something else. But if it's going to be the family, and we desire to have a religious family now, a religious family, then we are not going to be satisfied with religion losing its true value or its true virtues or its true directions for the betterment of community life. If we are going to be religious individually and we want to have a religious family, then we're not going to allow, let's say on this subject, single people to read the Qur'an for us and interpret it for their single life. And they're going to take the value and the virtues out of religion. Oh, you do it too. Oh, you ain't all so perfect. Oh, you ain't all this and that. To remove religious values. Or we're not going to allow to have leaders and influential people amongst the men and the women who call themselves teaching this religion and haven't studied it. It's going to ruin. It's going to ruin our religious family life because we're going to take our family to the masjid or to the church. And here you have someone in the church promoting single family life and all of the promiscuity that goes with it. And tell them Jesus still loves you. Maybe we don't want our family in a church like that. Maybe we don't want our family in a mosque like that. But Jesus loves you anyway. Allah loves you anyway. Now you come in here, you sit down, we're going to work with you. We're not going to have an imam that's not married. Because you're going to have an influence on our strong family life that we want. So you're not married, we're not asking about your personal life. Here's the application, you're not married, you're not qualified. You simply are not qualified. I don't care how much you know. I don't care if you went to Azhar and passed with flying colors, kumbaya, whatever they call it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Kumbaya, yeah, that's about it. Because you learn how to recite Qur'an so beautifully. You have a degree and you have they put a towel around your neck or even on your head and give you kumbaya certificate because you can recite so beautifully. And that's about all we get. But anyway, we don't want that in our leadership. We don't want that before us. Maybe you can go write a book or something. But we don't want to see you influencing our family because you have a problem. Yes, if we want strong family life. You can't tell us it ain't your business. Yes, it is our business. Your family life is our business because you're going to influence our family life. We are witnessing the erosion of religious life in our neighborhoods because we're putting up with the single life, open free dating, the dating game. And I'm talking to Muslims now. I always have to talk to my own people first. The confusion of what is moral and what is immoral. We're debating now on what's moral and immoral. I just gave an example of Bill Cosby. We debating on his moral life versus immoral life. We are witnessing a culture that is in disarray, a people that is mentally disturbed in what they are calling a religious life. Yes. I would give you proof, but you might know who I'm talking about. It's too personal because there's not a lot of them. But we have some mentally disturbed people that's in the leadership. You can't be between the ages of 30 and 45, have children in your care, dating and flirting around, and not be married and think it is acceptable in a religious community. Let me read that again. You can't be between the ages of 30 and 45 and have children in your care, dating and flirting around, and not be married and think it is acceptable in a religious community. And even in the Muslim community, someone has sold you on the idea of polygamy. But even I get phone calls. I'm not no woman's man, never have been. And I get phone calls about polygamy. And I have to be honest with them. It looks good on paper. It look real good on paper. But hey, I don't even have the gas money to come visit you because I'm trying to preserve the family life that I already have. And preserving my family life I already have and the circumstances that I'm living in, believe me, my wife even told me. See, how can you have another wife and your daughter and granddaughter is taking all your money? She's telling me I don't have to say nothing about you having another wife. Your daughter is going to kill you. Because they're going to be messed with her money. Your granddaughter going to get you because they mess with her money. They ain't stupid. They know if you get another wife, they know that their money going to be cut short or cut off. So that ain't even happened with you. And I just sit there and I say, well, I have to wait till my ships come in then. Let me go down to the dock, see if I got a ship that has come in. Yes. It's silliness. And after say I don't have gas money, where you live at? You live out of town somewhere. You don't even live on the east side. I'm trying to figure out if I could borrow some money from my wife to go to the east side to see you. You living in California somewhere. It's stupid. I have to tell them that. You sound stupid calling me like that. Don't go looking at all the single women in California and try to figure out who it is. I'm just giving y'all an example. It's not true. It's just to embellish the presentation. But it's true for somebody else. I know you because you are my people. This flirting around, and we have it, this flirting around, it becomes more than flirting around. This is living an immoral life. And we don't need to catch you doing anything wrong to validate your life is immoral. Like I'm talking now. I can give you an example. I can use my imagination. You know, I just take my intelligence and sprinkle some imagination on it and imagine enough to say to you, without me even knowing that you're living an immoral life. If you're between 30 and 45 and you have children in your care and you're not married, you're living an immoral life. Whether there are 4 witnesses or not. That's the point I'm making. Because the family life that you have ascribed for yourself is immoral according to the virtuous religious life. Let's go back to the verse. Ankihu, Allah is commanding that the single people, all of them, be married. We are very much aware of the good, virtuous, Christian, and community life. Though we're Muslim, we know both of them. We know a good, virtuous family and community life when we see it. We don't have to act like we don't know. Marriage have in it. We want to talk about now the motivation for economic growth. So marriage has in it motivation for economic growth. We have in the marriage the idea of the dowry. Just the dowry is a motivation for economic growth. The dowry is not only practiced with the Muslim community, but with the Christians also. In the sense that both religions, or both religious people, they have the concept of giving the bride a ring as a dowry or part of a dowry. And now, it's both gives rings. The woman gives a ring to the man, and the man gives a ring to the woman. Yes, as part of the dowry. But actually, if we use the Quranic text to support the idea of they both giving each other a ring, what it's really saying is that the male is giving the woman the ring. Because the male has to come with the dowry for the woman. But when the woman gives the male the ring, the woman is saying that though the dowry has been set, and the dowry can be high, that she's willing to relinquish part of the dowry back to the male, which she can do. That will make it not so difficult for the male in the marriage. Like I say, all of these will take a presentation within themselves. The more money a person makes, the more expensive the ring will be. You can't have an income of $80,000 a year and give a $50 ring. That's the point I'm making. The more money you make, the more investment in the marriage. That's the point. The more money you make, the more the investment in the marriage. So you have to be sure and precautious about who you marry on both sides. This will motivate the young man. We're speaking from the male side now. But we can, because of our circumstance, we can speak from the female side also. It would take time. But inshallah, we will address it at a time. But let's address the male first, because the male is more responsible than the female. It would motivate the young man to have something when approaching the marriage life. He has to be motivated. And the motivation will continue. As children come into the marriage life, in some societies, you would have to have a couple of cows, at least 2 cows. And there's an African society, there used to be 3 cows. And these are not rich people. The dowry was down to 2 cows now, and a house. You have to have a house. Or you have to give sheep, something of that nature. The point is, you cannot come to the marriage empty-handed. You have to have, one thing you have to have is a house. You have to have a house. And instead of you putting a ring on her finger, you give her the key to the house. The ceremony is you give them the key. You got that key. And you're giving the key to her. That's her house. That's not somebody else's house. You want to get married again, you need another key. Because you can't give that same key to another woman. I'm just helping you all. You go get you another key before you go get you another woman. Yes, you have to show. You can't come empty-handed. Yes. When I went to Ghana for my son's marriage, and that's what they asked me. And taking the vows, no. First question is, well, you come all the way from America here? What you come here for? And you have to talk I had to do the talking. My son can't do the talking, and her father, the bride's father, can't do the talking, because they might get into it. He might ask for more, and my son might get a little haughty. You know, they may get into it. So them two can't get into it. A representative from one of the uncles who's the chief. They're all chiefs. So one of the uncles have to talk, and I have to talk. It's between me and him. But this is how the stage is set. You can't come boasting, but you got to come as a man. You got to talk like a man, but you can't boast. He can't boast by asking for more about his daughter. This is my little precious daughter. He can't demand more, and you can't be boasting about what you have. But you got to talk like a man in the process, because we're going to talk like a man to you. That's how you have to come. And it's all men. It's all men. There are no women in there. This is the father and his brothers and her uncles and all, but because he's from the family of the chief, they're all chiefs. About 25 of them. In the back room, there's some young guys. They belong to the warrior. They're young muscular guys, like maybe 15 or 20 linebackers. They're in the back of the room. So this is the setting. Now, let's talk like men. You come here from America, what do you come here for? And I talk like a man. Well, we've been gone 400 years. That's how long it's been, 400 years. And that's not so we come here for your most precious daughter. We come to get her, to take her back with us. So I talk like a man. He talk like a man to me. I talk like a man back. I went back to visit, the next time I went back to visit them, the chief had a meeting. I walked in the meeting, they said, oh man, he's back. He said, what you come back here for this time? Yeah. But that's how you have to talk. You have to show them. Because they're asking you. It's in the wedding. And then they're going to ask you, did you come here empty-handed? What do you have? You can't boast, but you got to be a man. What do you have? Are you coming here to ask to take our daughter after all these years? Did you come here empty-handed to talk to us empty-handed? Set it out. That's in our language now. Set it out. And we had to set it out. Oh, okay. It ain't over yet. Now, you can go home. Take her and go on home if you want, to America, and we'll never see you again. Or you could be a visa. And here are traditions. Here's the visa tradition. You coming into this family? Are you coming into this family, or you just come for our daughter? Okay, take her. Go on. You satisfy the requirements. Go on. Or are you going to be a part of this family? If you're a part of this family, then this is what we want. This is what we expect from you. And then they came to tell me, we expect for you to talk to us and encourage us and push us to make greater progress. We're going to make you a chief, and that's your job. And if you see a way you can help us and benefit us, good. But that's your job, to talk to us and push us. That's why they saw that in me. After being around them the second time, they saw that in me. The first time I'm talking, they saw I could speak from the Qur'an, said, hey, he can work with the Imam. They have to decide. If you decide you're going to be a visa, we have to decide how to use you. But because you're in this family of chiefs, you have to become a chief. We want to make you a chief. Not your son, you. We can't put your son above you. As we call it, it's real talk. It's real talk. I say, yes, okay. You're in, son? Yes. Okay, we'll be so. And then they lay it out. Nothing too difficult. It's just that we ain't playing with you. Now, I'm looking at, hey, this is the way into Africa. This is the way in. This is the door. A door I've been looking for to find how I can take this system we have of teaching Qur'an that people can learn without knowing the Arabic language, find out how I can teach it in our group, and after we get our group going, we go to Africa. And Allah open the door to Africa. I'm in. Now I have to work. And I'm the progressive chief. Oh, I'm going to show you all. I'm going to show you all how to make some progress. I can talk. All I got to do is talk to y'all and show you how to make progress? Yes. Yes. Okay. I'm in. Sign me up. Because I am a student of the great reformer of this time. You don't know who you're talking to. We're talking man talk. I'm saying this to myself, though. I can't say that to them. But I'm saying to myself, they don't know who they're talking to. They're talking to, I could say, the son of the great reformer. And son, it means a follower, a strong follower. I follow him so strong in my thinking that you can call me a son of the great reformer. And you want me to talk to you on how to make progress? Well, let's start with education. And we're going to start with Islamic education. And we're going to talk about how we're going to teach the Qur'an as a science. We're looking down the road. We're looking down the road, and you're allowing me in. I'm in. Now, my question is this. Are you all in with me? Because look, you don't have to spit on some cotton. Cotton. You spitting on cotton, and he's telling you what tribe you from Africa. That should be an insult to an African American to spit on cotton. Maybe you should spit on some sheep's wool or some what cotton. Well, you don't have to send me $400 and some cotton. Just let me know, are you in or are you not in? And we're looking down the road. Because I know one thing, all of us hold a piece of Africa in our heart. When I put a picture up of me in Africa, over 200 hits right away. I never got 200 hits for anything, even what I'm doing now. 200, just 200. Day one, 200. That lets me know that we still hold Africa in our heart. We're still longing. As slaves, we're still longing for our place back home. And I'm not talking Marcus Garvey, but we're going to find us a place back home. Maybe that will help heal the wounds. If we could just find our relationship and our place back home. And it happened to be Ghana too, where they got the castle with a doorway that says the door of no return. Oh no, we're back. We're coming back. They thought, you go through that door, you're never coming back. Oh yes, we are. We're coming back. After 400 years, we're coming back. And we're coming back not just for vacation, not just to cry. We're coming back to help motivate and advance the African man and put him back in the race again with humanity. But we have our part here to do. Yes, we got business to take care of here, and we're going to go there and take care of business too. But first, strong family life. We know that we can't control our destiny in terms of death that leaves a man and a woman single in our society. We can't control that. Back to the family life now. However, divorce is frowned upon by Allah. We can't control death that leaves us widows and widowers, but divorce, that's heavily frowned upon. We could virtually say that divorce is seen as immoral and decadent. Look at how the divorce rate in our society has discouraged a man and woman for remarriage and is leaving so many people single. Whereas it is the adult single life that conditions us for immoral activity involving the male and female. When you're living single, especially the young people, you're setting up the conditions for immoral activity. Another idea of how the marriage life induces economic gains is through inheritance. One way it induces the gains is through the dowry. And the dowry continues. The dowry goes on. Another way, and there's more that we could talk about, like I said, on the man and the woman side. I'm because of the time. I know I'm beyond the time, but Saturday, I want to take my time on Saturday. So let's talk about inheritance. Inheritance is something we should pay more attention to. And inheritance is not in our vocabulary. We should have inheritance in our vocabulary more so than reparations. When we're talking as a community of people, we should be demanding inheritance. If we're saying that we came here as slaves and we have built this country, then we're not due reparations. We're due inheritance. I hope that makes sense. Maybe other people are due reparations, We're always trying to be like somebody else. Maybe they'll do reparations for what happened to them. But for us, we'll do inheritance. That's my building. You want to claim we have the first lady who wants to claim that slaves built the White House? Well, we ain't talking reparations. We're talking inheritance. That's part of our house there. We're talking ownership. My family, we went back to the plantation that we came from. They invited our side, the slave side, the African-American side, and they invited the white side, the master side. And we both came together, both sides of the family. The master side and the white side. And all this light skin I have came from the master. The master is my great-great-great-grandfather by blood. Because we were born out of one of the slave women. The African woman was a slave. And the masters had children by the African woman. So if you want to go back 30 years on Bill Cosby, let's keep going back. Let's keep going on back to Master. You know, Master is my granddaddy. And if Master is my granddaddy, this is my house. Tell him, yeah. And my uncle down the street, that's my uncle, and that's our house too. In fact, all this is ours, just as much as it is yours. Through inheritance, not reparations. No, you ain't got to feel sorry. Hey, and the woman that owns the house now said, I hope y'all not, and she understands. Her response is, I hope you all not going to go after my house. The graveyard, with the slaves in the graveyard. The names. My mother can tell you all, she has a good mind, can tell you all about the names in the graveyard. Been handed down. No, quit following other people. Look at our own circumstance. We'll do inheritance. And believe you me, if we could put together and show at Salim that we have reconciled our faith and show the American people that we have a community of people whose faith, based on their works, their deeds, their personality, their behavior, that they have this community, why, yes, give them their inheritance. Because giving them their inheritance is going to make America greater. Yeah, let's make America great again. Let us do our part, and you do your part. And we'll make America great again by us receiving our true inheritance. But to give you something for you to run down to the mall, no, the Qur'an say don't do it. If they're going to be foolish, don't give the foolish people their wealth. Wait until they mature. So inheritance has to be part of the family. I don't think we speak enough on it. We have to speak more and more about inheritance. It is through inheritance that we have a strong and lasting community. Community life is not built and established in one generation. That's the greatest mistake that man makes in reporting history. Reports history as though everything happened in one generation. That's how we perceive it. No, our circumstance didn't happen in one generation. Our circumstance has occurred over a period of years, 500 years or more. So true wealth is not acquired in one generation. It is through inheritance that we're able to make great strides in establishing strong, lasting family and community life. And it is the children that give us hope for our future. So just like now, we've had in our presence the physical presence of a person like Imam W.D. Muhammad. But his life can't go on and on physically. His life has to go on in us. His values have to go on in us. Its logic has to go on in us. We have been inherited from him intellectually speaking. So the intellectual properties of Imam W.D. Muhammad belong to his devoted students. Because we're the ones that have to carry it and make sure it goes on and on. We're the ones that have inherited it. So now I'm sitting here. I have to talk. I'm not talking about next week. I'm not talking about what we're going to do next weekend. I'm talking down the road at a time that I won't even be here. But who's going to inherit? Who's going to inherit the idea? Who's going to inherit the idea that we have for America? Who's going to inherit the idea of the life that we're going to have, our future life in Africa? Who's going to inherit the idea to make sure that this idea goes on and on until we're there, and I'm with you there in spirit, though I'm not here physically on the earth. That's my hereafter. That's Imam's hereafter. That's Salim Muhammad's hereafter that put the picture. He's the one that put the picture on the Muhammad's feet of us reaching across the globe and grabbing hands with our African brothers. He put it in us. But he's not here. And we're still carrying that out. We have inherited the idea. It was on every paper. We have inherited that idea. And the Imam inherited the idea because he was the one that told me, don't forget about Africa. He told me that. He said, yeah, we were talking. He said, yeah, he said, don't forget about Africa. That's all he said. Don't forget about Africa. That's how we have that's why we have the name Mali. That's what inspired me to come up with the name Mali. We were called the United Dawah Society. We changed it to Mali. After he said, don't forget about Africa, I wanted to put something in the group, organization, that would show that we have forgotten about Africa, so we called ourselves Mali. And there was a sign in Ghana. It's historical for us. The sister went there, and she told them, she says, I'm associated with Imam Salim MuMin, and I'm from Mali. Because Mali, they have learned that's the organization that we have, Mali, Muslim American Logic Institute. That's the group. So on the blackboard, it says, welcome Mali to Ghana. So what is a better fact? Yeah, not Mali, the country next door. Muslim American Logic Institute. Yes. We're not like the followers of the king. We're not dreaming. This ain't no dream. This is real. So our children, all this is about strong family life. Our children is our hope for the future. But we got to be real to our children, not foolish. According to the Quranic teachings, the male receives more in the inheritance than the female. The son will receive more in the inheritance than his mother, or the wife of his father, who dies and leaves money or wealth or material wealth. The son receives more. Why is this? It is the male, especially the eldest son, that is to provide for the mother and sisters just as the father was doing. That becomes his responsibility. If the father leaves the wealth to him, then he is to do as his father was doing. Provide for the mother and for the daughters, his sisters. That's why he receives so much more. Now, if the circumstance is that the sister is the one with the brains, and the Khalifa to take care of the family came up in her and not him, then she should receive the wealth, not him. I'm using the logic, Quranic logic. He shouldn't just see it because he's the male. He's going to go out and sell it for a bottle of liquor. That happened to our family too. I'm sharing this family things with you. I hope I can still get back into the family reunion after this speech. But yes, one of the family members sold the homestead for some liquor. My grandmother told me. He shouldn't have been in charge. So don't give it to him. He's still foolish. So if the Khalifa comes up in a woman in the family, then it should go to the woman. And the woman, out of that wealth, she provides for the others. But one thing we do that's not good, we just distribute it equally. If you lose yours, you just lose it. I do it with mine, you do with yours, we just get a percentage and we go our own way. That's not a strong family life. The wife has received a dowry, and the dowry can be ongoing throughout the marriage. So she has received a dowry. And that dowry is ongoing. If divorce occurs, the woman still keeps the dowry. So that is where the justice exists. So our family life has to be structured, economically structured, that we still continue to have the family life even after the death of one of the members of the family. In some Islamic society, a woman can point to any male figure in her family to take care of her if she loses her husband. She can't be left alone. And you'll find this in communities, in countries where you don't have government subsidized programs like we have in America. You can't go down to the government office and get subsidized housing or subsidized food stamps and things like that. And we will find in these societies that a man will take the wife of his brother upon his death and marry her as a second wife, that he may take care of her and her children. This comes from the desire to have strong family life. So, dear believers, we should work to rid ourselves of this notion to live the single life. We should even stop supporting single affairs to help promote the single life. Don't run that game on us that we need to have some single affairs so we can meet single people. Go meet them at Juma. Post up. You know how you post up? You post up like Kevin Love. Now, some of y'all know who Kevin Love is. Some of y'all don't know who Kevin Love is. So just scratch the Kevin out and post up like Love. And post up means, brother, if you need to meet a sister, go to Juma. And there's a door for sisters. And what you do, you post up. You stand outside that door and you watch the sisters that come out and you pick you one out. That's posting up. You don't need a single social. And start having Taleems at least once a month. And bring your whole family to Taleems so we can see how many children you have, men and women. Let us see your child support children, and let us see for the male and the female, let's see how many children you have. Let's see if they can be regulated or not. Let's see if they're obedient children, that maybe I can deal with them or not. These are our circumstances. I talk to my people, our circumstances. I don't want to meet you at the club. I don't want to meet you at the Muslim club, your children at home with the babysitter. No, bring them all out. You single with children, bring them all out. Let's take a look from a distance before we approach you. Don't do like some people do. You see a sister you marry, you go home, you take her home, and then she got a son. That's my mama. You got trouble, man. You already got trouble on your hands. No, baby, you don't want that. So let's go back to the decent way of doing things. Let's not follow the single bars and do it to people do it to single bars. Go to the Muslim place to get picked up. And someone from another state picking you up, you don't know nothing. They're strangers. They're just strangers, and you want to marry a stranger. Marry people close to you. Community people that you already know. Yes. And explain it to someone. You wanna be in a polygamous marriage? Marry people that you know that's already close to you. Your wife already know them. They already know them. They close. You already show some signs of providing for them. You're already doing it. You're already cutting the grass. You're already chopping down the trees. You already taking the children to school when you take your children to school. You already have the children staying at your house till she get off from work and she don't have to pay for that ski. You're already doing all of that. But we'll have to talk about that another time. But let's get away from supporting single affairs. It's eroding our community life. Alhamdulillah and Rabbil Alameen. I thank you for taking the time to listen today. Even though on Saturdays we run over time a little. But this is Ramadan. We should be able to speak from the Qur'an for the next 3 or 4 hours. Maybe one day I will do like the Imam and we will just have Ramadan all day and just break for prayer. We break for prayer and we'll have a Ramadan session all day. I could do this all day. You all know that. Because I teach all day on Saturdays and Sundays. I start at 6 and I will stop till about 1:30 or so, 2 o'clock. So we can do this all day. Because this is what's in my heart. You step on it, I'm going to holler ouch. And when I holler ouch, you're going to feel the ouch. So don't be stepping on my heart. This is my heart. I'm sharing with you. Ramadan Mubarak, peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum.